Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD podcast. And it's brought to you by K12 Sports Tech. We also want to thank our other sponsors, as usual. So please stay with us for the next 3 minutes. These are all companies, including K12 Sports Tech, that I used as an AD or have a direct connection to. So stick with us for the next 3 minutes or so. You're going to be glad you did. We want to say thanks to K12 Sports Tech for sponsoring Wednesday Wisdom. K12 Sports Tech helps athletic directors and sports vendors connect through education and hands on consulting services. Athletic directors are also invited to join the K12 Sports Tech AD think tank and help influence how companies shape their tech and serve schools. To join the think tank or to just find out more, all you have to do is go to K12SportsTech.com. That's K12SportsTech.com. We also want to say thanks to our regular sponsors, including Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Go to hometownticketing.com. It's digital ticketing that offers more. We want to thank Gipper for their support of the podcast. Go to Gipper.com. Start creating world-class content to celebrate your athletes and promote your teams. Gipper's used and trusted by over 4,000 high school and college programs. It's professional graphic design made easy. Go to Gipper.com to get started. We want to thank Home Campus. Go to homecampus.com. It's a platform that you're going to use every single day. Things like scheduling, athletic eligibility and clearance. Who doesn't do that every day? Uploading digital forms, communicating with everybody in your program, you name it, Home Campus does it better and does it faster. It's going to give you a lot of time back in your schedule. To get started, just go to homecampus.com. That's it, homecampus.com. We want to say thanks to Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Go to their website, vitalsignswalloffame.com, and check out their interactive touchscreen. That's right, touchscreen video consoles. It's a great way to showcase your school record boards for all the teams, for all the events, or your school's Hall of Fame, or simply share your school's unique history and your proudest moments. The website is vitalsignswalloffame.com. Check them out today. You're going to be glad you did. We want to say thank you to Snap Raise. Have you ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and got little, if any, return on investment? Stop right here. Go to snapraise.com. Hands down, the best online fundraiser out there. We used it at our school. Our coaches loved it. Our parents loved it. It works. Go to snapraise.com. Check out their other great platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you found it. Go to snapraise.com. We want to thank Huddle. Go to huddle.com. Change the way you see the game. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but as an AD, I wanted a platform that would work for all of our teams, and Huddle came through like a champ. Our coaches, our athletes, even our parents just loved the tools that Huddle provided that let our kids experience success at the highest level. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users, and turn your school into a Huddle school. We'd like to thank the Ohio University Online Masters of Science in Athletic Administration. This affordable 20-month program focuses exclusively on interscholastic athletic administration. And when you finish, you're not only going to have your master's degree, you'll have 11 NIAAA leadership training courses to go towards your RAA or CAA credential. You're also going to be part of a tremendous nationwide network in K-12 athletics to help you advance your career. To get started, go to ohio.edu/info/MAA. We'd like to say thank you to Sideline Interactive indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and schedule a live web demo to see their scoreboards and their score tables in action. Probably the best purchase I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. We use it for home games, of course, but we also use it for pep rallies, for signing ceremonies. Their products are tremendously versatile, and their customer service is just outstanding. Go to sidelineinteractive.com for more information. And we'd like to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of your players, your coaches, and your parents. You probably already get feedback from the complainers. Well, Athletic Surveys will connect you to that group, but they're also going to connect you to the 98% that supports your program. And that's tremendously valuable information when you're talking to a frustrated parent or your principal or your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com to get started. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We've got a very special guest, somebody I like to call an old friend with us today, Abby Emerson of K12SportsTech. And if you've been listening to the last few segments, you know that K12SportsTech has come on board as our named sponsor for all of our Wednesday Wisdom sessions. Abby was a guest on our podcast a while back, has a tremendous background in athletics, and she is you're the COO and the co-founder of K12SportsTech. Abby Emerson, welcome back to Wednesday Wisdom.
Thank you, Jake. CEO and founder, but yes, Alec is a COO. But yeah, I'm really, really happy to be back on the podcast, chatting with you again. Love what you're doing. And yeah, happy to be here.
Well, we always like to let our listeners on our regular segments have a chance to get to know our guests. And I think it's important for our new listeners and our returning listeners to hear a little bit about your background, because again, it is very impressive. So share a little bit about, how you got into this, let's say the business of athletics.
Yeah, it was, well, sports were huge for me growing up. 3-sport athlete, basketball, soccer, and lacrosse. In high school, went on to play lacrosse at Notre Dame. Was an All-American there and loved my time there. We were number 2 for a while my senior year, lost to Northwestern. Well, Northwestern went on this huge run, and I'm not bitter about it at all. But beyond that, I worked for the New York City Olympic bid in domestic communications, which was a fascinating, super fun experience since I grew up in New York. Moved to Chicago and started a career in athletics management tech, working for 8-18, which is now Snap Managed, part of Snap Raise. And I just worked with hundreds of athletic directors during my time there. My role was really partnerships and finding ways to work with other companies in the business to help better serve athletic directors. And founded K12 after doing that for about 10 years. And just saw there's this need, this disconnect between athletic departments and sports tech vendors. And I founded K12 to kind of solve that gap and be a resource for athletic directors, help educate and inform them on tech that's really going to fit their department and drive adoption, and it's easy for them to grow. And then on the sports tech vendor side, helping them better serve athletic departments. And to do that, you really have to understand the needs of the athletic director. And so with the AD think tank, bringing AD voices back into the innovation in the space, so that both vendors and athletic departments can benefit.
Well, that was pretty good. And listeners, if you missed that little nugget in the beginning, yes, she was an All-American at Notre Dame. All right, you're the founder of K12SportsTech. You and I connected. I saw, I think it was a blurb. It might have been on LinkedIn, but I just started, what is this? And as I got into it, I'm going, where was this when I was an AD? It just sounded like such a no-brainer. share with our listeners a little bit about, um, which are primarily athletic directors, how does K12 Sports Tech help them? How can they take advantage of it? And then we are going to talk about the think tank later, but what is it? Let's take a deeper dive. Why should our listeners care? And listeners, you should, but why should they care about K12 Sports Tech?
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, athletics, school athletics is one of the only spaces where there isn't ready available information about sports tech vendors that's objective, and there's not reviews on vendors. There's everything is word of mouth. Everything is like a handshake and I know a guy, and what happens is that it makes it very difficult to navigate the space, and a space that's changing all the time. I mean, that in that way, the sports tech, athletics tech industry is the same as everywhere else. There's tons of new solutions coming and entering the fold, and it's forever changing. So what we provide is information about those vendors. We have a vendor review. It's called the Vendor Impact Survey, and we've encouraged a lot of athletic directors to review their vendors. And it's data driven, so it's a sliding scale across 8 different impact categories. And so we're trying to build a lot of information to help guide decision making when it comes to critical tech for managing your department. So that's one thing that we're providing. And then there's the think tank. That's how we're building. We're building from the ground up with athletic directors in the mix, helping us grow the way that it's going to be impactful and helpful for them, but also for these sports tech vendors in the space.
Well, let's go and talk about the think tank. I know you've been reaching out to athletic directors across the country to become a part of it. How does it all work? And, if one of our listeners wants to, get involved themselves, what do they do?
Yeah. So the think tank is a team of ADs, tend to be forward thinking, that are interested in, number one, keeping their thumb on the pulse of what's going on in the sports tech space. But essentially it's an opportunity for them to get paid as part of consulting work that we do for sports tech vendors. So there's a professional development opportunity there for them. Additionally, we're building a community, and we want to kind of connect the dots across the country, and help answer questions, establish best practices when it comes to managing your sports tech, your suite of tech for you, but then also for other ADs that you know. But what it really looks like is project work. So anything from filling out a survey for a small compensation to being a consultant on projects with some of our clients. So it might be a call where you're looking at some technology and providing your feedback and looking to see how that might fit in your department, or what you think of it as a solution for a district, the state, features and functions that would work, wouldn't work. And then also how to helping vendors understand beyond the sale. What does it look like to support an athletic department after they say yes? So things like this, really critical questions, where the answers really should come from active athletic directors and some retired, instead of you coming at it from okay, how do we grow revenue and the transaction? It's more of a relationship building exercise that's going to be a long-term fit for both the athletic department and the sports tech vendor. So that's what we're trying to build.
Well, I think you're off to a great start. And again, the website is K12, K12, K12SportsTech.com. If If you haven't been there, you need to check it out. You have quite a few vendors that are actually, in this program now. What are some of the vendors saying about this approach with the AD think tank and the connections between direct connections between
Yeah.
sports vendors and athletic directors?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking it. They're thrilled. I mean, by and large, this is the opportunity for them to get valuable, honest insight from an athletic director who typically, the way this works, and having been in the space, and a lot of your listeners know, ADs are generous with their feedback when they're on a call. It's like, hey, this may not work for us. It may not, but they're never compensated for it. And we know that by and large, as a profession, the athletic directors are very responsible and very diligent, and especially if it comes to like a formal exercise where we're compensating them for their time. They want to be super helpful. All of them, all of the calls we've had have been extremely valuable. So our vendors, our clients, find it incredibly valuable. And depending on the structure of the project, we've had a couple who've been able to hone in on their pitch, or um, get rid of a direction they were going for right away. It just saves a lot of time and money from the vendor perspective, because they're talking to their customers, and many of them who are just entering the space don't really understand how nuanced the space is, how different every department is, how different every AD is. But they also quickly find out how much input and sway an athletic director has when it comes to making some of these decisions. And it's not only the decision about the sale, it's the decision about how his or her department optimizes or uses their software after the sale is made. So yeah, it's been a resounding. I mean, I feel like I'm sales, but being a sales guy right now, but like it's been a resounding success on both sides. Both are really excited about being connected in this way. And we can't wait to continue to grow and to get more ADs on board, because it's free and it's just a fun opportunity. And it's only about 3 months old. So those ADs that are coming on board now are part of this inception stage, where we're really receptive to feedback about how to grow the think tank to make it something really exciting for other administrators as well.
Well, again, I was sold, before I'd even spoken to you, as I saw, that blurb, and the more I found out about it, I just think it's something that definitely going to be a valued resource for ADs. If one of our listeners wanted to get involved, and listeners, I'm telling you, you should. Okay, what's the best way they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, well, so this email goes to both me and the COO and my managing partner, Alec Brown, who's a former AD as well. And he's been managing a lot of the think tank calls. But you can email connect@k12sportstech.com. But you can also find out more information about the think tank at k12sportstech.com/AD-think-tank, or just /join, which is where you just sign up, because really you just should just sign up. It's free. We'll be in touch after you sign up. It's basic contact information and a few questions about your interest in the think tank. And beyond that, we reach out. We want it to be a really personal experience for athletic directors that join, so that we can forge a long-term relationship that's beneficial to them, and that's part of it's building a community of like-minded ADs.
Yeah. And again, listeners, if you haven't picked up on this, they're not selling anything. Okay. They're simply trying to partner athletic directors like you with vendors that you can trust and that are going to offer what you're looking for in that particular area. So, make sure you check it out. Let's give out the website, the Join website one more time, K12SportsTech.com
/join.
/join. Could it be any easier? Okay. Abby, always great hanging out with you, and very happy to be part of the K12 Sports Tech team. All the best moving forward. And again, for listeners, we're recording this in early April, so it's going to be very timely when you hear it. Reach out to Abby and Alec at K12 Sports Tech. You're really going to enjoy it. And again, Abby, thanks for coming on Wednesday Wisdom.
Thank you so much, Jake, for having me. This is, as always, really fun and exciting, and I love what you're doing. So thanks for what you do.
Thanks for letting me be a part of it. For listeners, we want to say thanks to you and remind you that we upload the Zoom recordings of all of our interviews to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do this every week with Wednesday Wisdom, and just about every day sharing best practices and stories from athletic directors just like you. Thanks again. Come back next time for another session of the Educational AD Podcast. Definitely check out K12SportsTech.com /join. Get involved with their AD think tank. We want to thank K12 Sports Tech for being the name sponsor for Wednesday Wisdom, along with the rest of our sponsors. Ohio University's Master in Athletic Administration, Vital Signs Wall of Fame, Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack, Snap Raise, the #1 online fundraiser, Sideline Interactive Indoor Score Tables and Video Boards, Hometown Ticketing, Huddle, go to huddle.com, Home Campus, go to homecampus.com, and Gipper, go to gipper.com. Thanks again for listening to the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time.